Okay, this is another video I'm making in my series of where I was during certain events and tragedies and historic moments in my life. Today I want to talk about the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion. That was January 28th, 1986. I was only 18 years old. I was in college, and we had just started the spring semester. And so it was January 28th, so that means probably it was the second week of school in the spring semester when this happened. And the way I found out was I went to the cafeteria. It was either lunch or dinner, something like that. I don't know what time it was exactly. But I went to the cafeteria, and we have a 2-story cafeteria, so you go in on the first floor and you get your food. You can sit on the first floor, or you can go up to the second floor and sit up there, which is mostly what I did. I went upstairs, and that's where my friends were most of the time. So I went upstairs, and that's when I found out people just started telling me. We didn't have TVs. There weren't any TVs like I imagine there are today and everywhere. But we didn't have TVs, otherwise I'm sure it would have been on. So I was in a place with pretty much no information, and all I heard was that the space shuttle exploded. So my very first thought was that it was some kind of act of war or terrorism. I didn't realize it was just due to a mechanical failure and it exploded on its own. I thought, the impression I got was that maybe some of the country attacked the space shuttle and blew it up, and that's why it exploded. So I was very confused. I didn't have any additional information, and I didn't know, I didn't understand the context of what had happened, and I was only 18 years old, and so what the NASA space program was doing was not first and foremost on my mind. So I didn't really have a grasp of what was going on at 18. But just like everybody else, I was very shocked, and then it took a few days for me to sift through all the information that was coming in, just like everybody else, and then I realized that it was just a mechanical failure, and it was just a horrible tragedy. And thankfully, at least it wasn't an act of war. Because that's what I was concerned about for about the next day. I thought something nefarious had happened, and we were going to start a war with someone. But thankfully, that didn't happen. But that's where I was when I found out that the Challenger had exploded. I didn't see it live. Probably the actual moment it happened, I was probably walking from my dorm to the cafeteria. And then by the time I got in there and got my food, then got upstairs, the whole event had happened. Because that's, it takes about probably a 15-minute span of time for all that to happen, for me to leave my dorm, then go up to the cafeteria and sit down, and that's when I actually found out. So that's where I was, January 28th, 1986. I was starting my second semester of college, my second semester of my freshman year. So that was it.